Well, with me in studio is Sanco Gauteng provincial chairperson, Chris Malematja. A very warm welcome to you, Chris. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, perhaps in light of, the General Assembly's postponement yesterday and the package we just saw, what is your stance on the matter at this point? And Sanco's for that matter.
Yes, thank you very much. And my greetings to the viewers at home. I think it's long we have been being spectators of the whole saga. It is time that whether the assembly or not, the government must take fully responsibility, full charge of the whole matter and ensure that we do the right thing. We can't keep on postponing this matter on the basis that the students and the management are not reaching a consensus, whereas we are claiming to be a state-carrying, then at the end of the day, we keep saying, no, we don't have money, we don't have debt. I think it is time that the manner we treated the SAA when they had no money, we jump. We cannot keep saying we don't have money, whereas if there's a crisis in Swaziland, we are very fast to go and say, we bail out the Swaziland. It happened some years ago. So I think it's time that the state must come on board and say, we agree on free education. Then the matter now, it will be resolved. Now we come to second part to say, after agreeing, how do we achieve it, all of us?
Now, with that said, why has the Fees Commission not perhaps been encouraged to speed up the process or, just in light of everything and how it has escalated, and also has this maybe changed the nature or the orientation of the demands since they have increased as well?
I don't think it's necessarily the demand that is changing the whole vision. The issue is that time and again when we set up commissions, I think the time that we give is a form of time frame. We try to include delay tactics, not forgetting that this one day will catch up with us. I don't see reason why it has taken so long, because every part what was needed by the commission is just near. It's not far-fetched. 1 minute they are there, then they present their case. This issue of commission, I think it must be closed. It's long overrunning.
With that said, is it feasible to suspend classes completely? I mean, until a solution is founded based on how it has been dragging on with no answer in sight as of yet?
We don't encourage the suspension of classes. That must be agreed.
Okay.
But we are saying the government, you can't be a spectator for such a long time. It's time that to come in, because what is needed is just to agree on a free education. Then I'm going back to say, then the issue it be how do we implement the whole thing? Because if we suspend really, we are going to lose. Have you ever thought about the backlog of coming here? Yeah. Then what is going to happen next day? Exactly. Are we creating a space where at some stage is going to catch up with us and say, in South Africa, there was this space where there was no learning and teaching. What kind of generation are we trying to produce? So I'm saying that one we really condemn that there be suspension of classes. And I think it's good that we are here as civic. We are calling all the formations that as parents, let's rally behind these kids. Agree with them that they go to classes, we fight the battle.
Okay, there are some third-party forces that also have been, they've been blamed rather for inciting violence and also spurring up some of the protests. How helpful is this in the grand scheme of things, and obviously also trying to find a resolution?
You see, South Africa is a democratic state. Obviously, everyone wants to emerge as victorious. Every Jim and Jack will try by all means to capitalize on what they think can make them emerge. There are people without title, there are people without organization who will go there and try to become the messiah of the situation. And there are those who have got political agendas, who will pretend as if they are not political highness. But their actions, the manner in which they drive it, and the way we know them, these are political highness, are trying to hijack the whole issue, so it be seen as if they are the messiah, and we are able to identify them as the third forces, who necessarily don't want peace, who necessarily the objective is not about to achieve the whole issue of free education, it's just to cause trouble in the situation.
So in light of the demands that, were issued out, how realistic are they in being implemented? I mean, free education for all, obviously being the top of those demands, etc., in your view?
Yeah, let's take one by one, because if we generalize them, we might talk. Let me start with the free education for all.
Sure.
You see, the issue is how, as a state, do we prioritize issues? If the state can sit and prioritize education and take that particular vision, put the budget to match that vision, is possible. I can give an example of countries which are doing very well. Germany is one. And they are one of the top 5 in the 100 universities of this country, I mean of the world.
In the world.
So they've prioritized education. You go to a mere state, Cuba, they are doing the same. So even in us here, if we prioritize education, it can be done and be achievable. We also put more resources in achieving the vision.
Okay.
Yes.
Second, so if we're unpacking this, the second, obviously, that all vice-chancellors should march with the fees, must form movement to provincial, national governments. What is your stance on that as well?
Come again?
The unpacking the demands that the students have obviously highlighted. So we've seen that there have been calls to shut down the varsity until governments commit to free decolonized education. Varsities and VCs should march with the fees must fall movements.
Yes.
VIT should initiate a class action against the government if they fail to deliver on that free education. And then also VIT should task all vice-chancellors to do away with a levy instituted against international African students as well. So I was saying, in light of these demands that have been highlighted, what is the feasibility and reality of implementing it, with the Commission failing at this point?
No, the Commission is failing, I agree, but the issue is so simple, as I said before. It's for the government to commit. All what they're waiting for the committal from the government to say we commit free education. And it still goes back where I said, the moment you commit, now you talk the issue of how do we implement it. It goes back to what I've just said now, the question of prioritizing. Now we prioritize it. We treat that as an apex project. Then we prioritize it. We channel enough funds to that particular priority, and we show that it is pleasable. There's nothing wrong for the varsities, the chancellors, to go and join the march. Isn't it that we want also to assist them?
Okay.
So if we want to assist them, why are they here? Because they're going to benefit. Then the question of how do we make this money still easy. There's so many ways that we can do. The levy issue, I agree, we need to say there be a cut of some sort so that we're able to free the whole situation.
Okay, and last but not least, I mean, police presence, security presence on campus, has this perhaps exasperated the situation any further? Also looking at the costs that have been incurred on a month-to-month basis since this all began.
You see, being a democratical state, we tend to defend two things. Your right as a protester and my right as a non-protester. So the police have got a role to play. But what really forced us to arrive at that particular situation where we have in the presence, in the institution, it is where lies the problem. Because if we can allow the engagement, smooth engagement, if we can allow a situation where we understand one another's rights, I don't see necessity for the students. But if the government cannot send police there, and those who don't want to partake in the protesting, then they get harmed, the state is also going to be blamed.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, police have to be there. But the question is, what is it that they're doing? In many cases, if I have to give, you'll find that are the police who start provoking people. Because, of course, these remarks go into them. You are a human being. You end up reacting. Then it becomes a problem. But all in all, one can call to say, let there be no police. Because here we're not talking about the high school. We're talking about higher education learners. So we believe that their parents on their own, they know what is right and they know what is not right. Therefore, let there be no police, then they behave. If there are those who don't want to take part in terms of the protesting, leave them alone. Then those who want to really back on that, do that. Rather to harm them. I have no problem if they're using the shutting down of the classroom on that particular process. But don't harm somebody, don't force somebody to join you if he doesn't understand your content.
Well, that was Gauteng Provincial Chairperson Chris Malematja, of course, chatting to us about the recent developments with the postponement of the General Assembly taking place after no consensus was reached. We do know that on Sunday they will meet again to find the solution on a way forward.